But hang on, is it just about poverty? There's places all over the world where people experience poverty and they don't resort to terrorism. So there must be more to it than that. So it seems there's got to be an element of injustice that motivates these terrorists to do what they do. They must feel aggrieved, they must feel upset by something. And there's lots of examples of that. So if we start with the PLO, first obvious one is Israelis occupied what they thought was their land and forced them into Gaza and the West Bank. So the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. So that's injustice number one. Gosh, that makes them angry. The second thing that happens, and we haven't talked about this in the lesson, was when the Israelis invaded Lebanon, which we did talk about in the lesson, Christian allies to the Israelis attacked two refugee camps in Israel, one at Sabra and one at Shatila. Now, these Christian allies of Israel were meant to be looking for PLO members. What actually happened is they went around, they gathered up men, women and children, over 1,000 of them, and they executed them. So you can see why that kind of incident will encourage people who perhaps weren't desperate to join the PLO before to maybe join now because they feel this sense of injustice. Gosh, that's horrible, something needs to be done about it. What about the IRA? What problem do they have that they feel a sense of injustice about? Well, if you go back to the 1840s, there was the potato famine. Now, many of the Irish people who lived at that time had a diet based on potatoes. When there was a famine, that caused a huge problem. Millions of people either died or fled the country because they had to. At this time, the UK should have been helping them out. The UK ruled Ireland at the time. But instead, the UK essentially went, yeah, we don't care. You can understand now why a lot of people in Ireland, even many years later, hundreds of years later, would still be a little bit angry about that. There's also more modern events like Bloody Sunday in 1972 when British Special Forces and police officers opened fire on peaceful protesters. These events increase the sense of, crikey, we've been hard done by the Irish. They feel really angry that the British have been cruel to them. They might forget all the good things that the British have done for them because they're trying to get as many people to believe that Britain just equals badness for Ireland.